Hey everybody, I'm Alex. I'm one of the owners here at Rochester Homes, and I'm here with our marketing team. I'll let them introduce themselves in a moment here, but we get asked a lot of questions on the website and on our chat bot and of course via phone calls, and we thought we would just take a minute and make a video about some of those frequently asked questions. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick, and then we'll get started, and these two will ask me some questions and we'll see if I can fumble through them.
Okay. I'm Reagan, and I'm part of the marketing team, and I also work as the designer here at Rochester Homes.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm Zach Stiers. I'm part of the marketing team as well. I work more on the social end and advertising end of Rochester Homes.
Tech.
And tech.
Marketing tech, yeah, for sure. Okay. Why don't you guys just get started slinging some questions at me, and we'll see how many I can trip over.
Yeah, I think the first one that people want to know is just, I guess, going back to the history part of Rochester Homes of how long we've been in business and what that rise looked like since then.
Okay, great. That one's easy. So we've been in business since 1972, so I don't need a calculator, shockingly, but 48 years come mid-year here. And we started out as a much smaller shop, and we were building single-wide mobile homes, just a few at a time, really slow production rate. We're a family-owned and operated company, so it was my grandfather-in-law that started that, and then my father-in-law took over, and when he did that, he introduced modular construction into our plant, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about the difference between mobile codes and modular codes here in a little bit, but as a family, we just really pushed towards a higher quality in our plant and with the components that we used. And so eventually we really just priced ourselves out and kind of qualityed ourselves out of building mobile homes and switched to modular construction only. It's probably been 25 years ago already that we made that change. And Tyler Anderson, my business partner, and myself bought Rochester Homes in 2015. Since we've been working here, it's well before that, actually. It's been modular construction only. So Tyler kind of grew up in it. The joke in the family is that, when he played with the Lincoln Logs, he would build them first and then move them with the crane when he was a little kid. And so he's been doing this his whole life. And I came in 10, 12 years ago, something like that, and kind of moved around the sales team and on the business side of things. But the beauty of being a third-generation family company is that we've been in this for a long time together. We've learned a lot. The original founder is still living, and Tyler and I still glean information from him and from my father-in-law, Kenny Anderson, and we've learned a lot. We've built a lot of houses, and hopefully you can trust in the fact that we're experts at what we do. Not all the answers are going to be that long, hopefully, for you guys.
I guess one that probably most people, a misconception is that they can just come in Rochester Homes and buy a house from you. I guess so. One question is, why can't I buy a home directly from Rochester Homes? Yeah,
that's a great question. We get that a ton, especially here locally. People in town know Rochester Homes is here, and so they think they're going to come into the Model Center and buy a home from Rochester Homes. But the science behind what we do is that we operate in a 500-mile radius. That gives us the ability to build the volume that we build. And the volume that we build gives us the ability to, one, maintain consistent production levels and maintain a consistent head count in our production facility. So our team that's out there, we've got a lot of team members who've been here for 30, 35 years, and we're trying to grow new people into that all the time. So that's a really important part of what we do. Also, having that consistent volume gives us the ability to buy in much better quantities and at much better prices than some of my smaller site-built competitors. So the really long-winded answer I'm getting at to you here is we need to build in a really big area to have enough builders to do the kind of volume we build. Now, in doing that, we're not able to be on every job site, and we can't be in a northern county of Iowa and be doing what we're doing here. And so we rely on a builder network, and these are people who've been building homes their whole lives. Typically, they own their own businesses. Typically, almost all of them have done other types of construction, not just modular construction, but they are experts at building your home on your job site. And so what they do is they treat us like almost like an advanced lumber store, and they order the home pieces from us. And it's anywhere from 50 to 80% of the home, and then the rest of the home they're going to do. So porches, garages, additions to the home, sunrooms, the foundation, the local code knowledge, all that stuff comes from the builder. So people think, and maybe our name is misconceiving, Rochester Homes, they think we're the home builder, but really we're a part of it. We're like an advanced lumber store, and you have to go through that builder because they're the local expert who's going to have the time and is going to want to put their hands on every single part of your project, from design all the way up to ordering the modules, and then servicing your home after the sale as well. So we don't actually have techs that go out and take care of this stuff, because that builder knows how to swing a hammer, knows how to fix drywall. They're the ones that are going to do that. So you buy your home from a builder just like you would a site-built home. They're going to buy, either the site builder would buy a lumber package from a lumber store, the modular construction builder would buy the modules from us, and we're kind of a little bit in the background in that way.
Yeah, I guess going along the builder side of things, I understand that I got to go through a builder and whatnot, but how do I go about acquiring to know what builder I is close to me, and can I get a list of them, or what goes on in that process?
Yeah, so our sales team, their job is less of sales and it's more of builder assistance, builder training, builder development. So we're going out and we're trying to find builders all across that 500-mile radius. We try to find people who are experienced. We try to find people who have modular construction experience or want to get into modular construction, and then we train them on our systems. We make them an expert on Rochester Homes. So we're going to direct you back to them. So you can you can call us, chat bot, get on the website and submit a request. Ask us on Facebook, all our social media platforms, but just get a hold of us. We'll put you in touch with your local builder and help you start to build that relationship with them. And then we always suggest to go with the closest builder, as long as you guys can build a good working relationship. Obviously that's important too, but the closest builder is going to be the one who's most readily available onto your job site at any given time. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, this isn't building a Lego brick box or block, which is super easy and there's no service afterwards. This is a home. It's complex. There's drywall, there's wood, there's trim, there's flooring, there's all these million things. I want a local builder on my job site who knows my house and who knows how to work with the materials and who can service after the sale. And so we'll direct you to that person. We'll hook you up with them. And then, we're not going anywhere. You can still reach out to us if you need to. But after we put you in contact with your builder, that's going to be your main point of contact from then on. They'll help you with pricing. They'll help you with everything from start to finish. And they'll order the modules from us when they're ready.
Do the builders have a certain territory that they have to stay in, or is it kind of a slippery slope of some builders in the same area, or do you space them out far enough that there's never going to be an issue of that builder just took one of my customers? Or
yeah, we they're independent businesses, and we just don't get involved so much that we say you cannot work with this customer, you cannot work with this customer, you have to work with this customer. Obviously, if you guys contact us through, if you contact us and we direct you to a builder, we're happy to put you in touch with them, but we don't force anybody to do anything. So, let us help you find your builder, create a good working relationship, and I guess that's the best advice I can give you is we're not going to be a Gestapo about, county lines and that kind of stuff. That's not the role we play.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're doing this video inside one of our model homes. So I guess people are wondering how readily available are models able to view, and do we offer any services that are available for prospective customers to come actually see the product in person?
Yeah, so we have 3 models at the factory at any given time. That's kind of our minimum level that we'll have. We do switch them out occasionally, so you might find one under construction sometimes, but we should always have 3 here, if not more. And then our builders also have models. So again, reach out to us. We'll put you in touch with the closest local builder to you, and we'll tell you whether or not they actually have a stock home that you can go visit. In addition to being able to visit their models, we do a ton of, you guys do it, so a ton of photos. We're starting to do a lot of virtual walkthroughs of the homes, which are really nice to see. And then I think personally, if I'm going to buy a home, I want to get into the guts of it, So come to the factory tour. It's absolutely worth the time, even if it's an 8-hour drive and you got to, stay in town or stay around town overnight. We're not that far from, 3 decent sized cities, Indianapolis, South Bend, Fort Wayne, so that you're going to have plenty of places to stay and things to do. But come do the factory tour. It's at 10 a.m. Eastern every Saturday. You can fill out a form online to let us know you're coming. Check our Facebook page, follow our Facebook page, and make sure you're getting updates that way. If we ever don't have a tour, you would see that on our social media channels. But you're going to get to see on the tour everything from start to finish, from the first hammer that we swing all the way until the home's wrapped up and ready to ship down the road. And I can't tell you the number of people who've come in for the tour thinking, oh, here I go, I'm walking into a mobile home production facility, I think I know what I'm getting. And they walk out the other end and they go, wait a minute, you're building homes the same way that the guys are building homes on site. You're just doing it in a more efficient method. It's a real eye opener. So come to the tour would be my first and foremost request for everybody if you really want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned in the tour that people walk out like you're building the exact same thing as a site-built home. So what is the big difference between a site-built home and a modular built?
Great question. And I'm going to back up a little bit further. Just like the 10,000 foot view on home building codes. There's only 2 in the U.S. that are practical and useful and that we adhere to. So there's HUD code, which is Housing and Urban Development, an arm of our wonderful government, who regulated a code a while back that was, as the RV industry kind of started to develop, people took that line of thinking and they said, well, I could live in one of these, right? So they created these non-permanent structures. It's supposed to be a temporary structure that stays on a metal frame, it stays on wheels. But HUD, in its search for affordable housing, coded these homes out, and it's what you and I would call now a mobile home or a single wide or a double wide. And it's a national code, so it applies to the entire country the same. And unfortunately, because of that, it doesn't take into account the differences that our country needs you to take into account because of our geography. In northern Michigan, you need a heavy snow load. In Iowa, you have to have concern for wind loads. In Missouri, you have to get ready for tornado issues. And there's a million other examples of that I could bring up. But unfortunately, the HUD code doesn't account for that. So I can put a 20-pound snow load mobile home in northern Michigan, even though that's not safe. Oftentimes on the news, when a tornado rips through an area, you'll see most of the homes were fine, but the local mobile home park was decimated because those homes aren't built properly for that area. In addition to that, they're treated as chattel property as well. So they're titled like your car or your RV are, and unfortunately, like a car or an RV, they tend to depreciate in value fairly quickly. So that's HUD code. That is what this company started doing a long time ago, but we grew past that, and all we do now is modular construction. So the only other code is International Residential Code. It's a council of people who are absolute experts in the industry, and they adopt the super perfect code, I'll call it. If things were built perfectly, this is what we do. And then your county in each state is allowed to adopt parts of that code. Some states regulate it on their own, some counties regulate it on their own, but someone at your local level is going to be telling us and your home builder exactly what version of that International Residential Code that they want us to build to. And there's different parts of it. There's mechanical parts, and there's electrical parts, and there's energy code conservation parts of it. But it takes into account your geographical issues like snow load, like wind load, and then it says, we want you to build all the homes in our county this way. And they don't specify how they want you to build them. And that's the only difference between homes. All the homes that are built to residential code can be built different ways, but the important thing is they're still built to residential code. So once they're on the foundation, they're appraised, financed, they're treated as real estate, all the same way. Now there's different ways to get a residential home code built, and that's my super long-winded answer here is modular construction is one way to build a residential code home. Panelized construction is another way to build a residential code home. You can do it totally out of concrete blocks. You can do it out of SIPS panels. You can do it out of concrete panels. Or you can site frame it, I call it, but a lot of people call it stick build it. Those are all just methods of construction. So modular is a method of construction. That's it. It's not a type of home. And that's the really important classification that I think a lot of people are struggle to understand, but more and more people are doing it nowadays. And hopefully this video will educate more people.
Yeah, and I think an important part of what you just said is they appraise and insure the same as site-built homes, and we've actually done some pieces of content there that can explain it in further depth if people are interested there. But I guess not to put you on another long-winded answer, but
Good luck.
they know. So we know all this information, but how does it compare to, I guess, in cost? Like, how much does a modular home typically cost, or can I get a cost from us, I guess?
Okay. So, no, you won't be able to get a price from us. We don't give out prices because that would be like giving the price of the engine and not telling you how much the frame and the body and the paint and the tires are on your car. We're an advanced lumber store and we're a piece of the puzzle, but we're not the whole puzzle. Your local builder is the expert on everything from pricing to, they actually know your local codes better than we do. They're going to help hold our hand when they order the modules to make sure we cover some local stuff that maybe we've never covered in that county before. And they're the ones that are going to help you understand the full price of your home, because at the end of the day, you don't really care what the modules cost, because you can't have the modules without the foundation, and you can't have the foundation without the excavation, and you can't have the porch without the modules, and you can't have the garage without the foundation and the sticks. So the question of how much does it all cost depends on way too many factors for us as a advanced lumber store to answer. Your local builder that we'll put you in touch with can answer that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the cost and getting in touch with your local builder, is the loan process for these any different than somebody who would want to build a site-built home? It
should not be. There are still some banks that are having a hard time catching up to our building science, I would call it. Our industry is doing a much better job of getting the word out. We're a part of the Modular Home Builders Association, and we're also part of the Building Systems Council, which is a part of the NHB, and that's a group of panelized, concrete, modular construction people who are spreading the word, and we're doing a much better job. So your bank should be educated by this point. If they're not, reach back out to your builder and to us, and we can typically have a conversation to update them. But no, according to Fannie and Freddie, who buy 90% of the paper out there, there should be no difference in appraisals or the way that a home is financed depending on the way it's constructed, as long as it's not built to HUD code. That's the big thing they're looking for. Most banks don't want to buy financing on HUD properties because they're a chattel property. So there's typically specialty companies who finance HUD homes, and then banks want to finance residential code constructed homes, regardless of how they got onto the job site and framed and built.
Yeah, and what if I'm coming from, like, I do drywall for a living, and I know my house is going to need some drywall work when it gets there to finish off. What if I want to do that myself? Like, is that an option? Like, if I were to specialty or to hire out my own contractors there, or what does that look like?
That's up to you and your builder. Typically, I know a lot of our builders will work with you on stuff like that. Some parts of the job might not be open to their consideration, though. Typically that's a question where the banker will get involved and say, nope, I have this builder and he's going to be the general contractor, and therefore he's in charge of the foundation and the construction, and I won't finance it until that project is totally complete. And so you have to go with everything to the builder. So ask your banker, ask your builder. Typically we do see builders and banks work with customers, especially if they're lifelong career has been to do a thing. They're not going to expect you to pay somebody else to do that. So, have a good relationship and conversation with your local bank and your builder, and you might just be able to do that.
Have you ever ran into somebody saying, like, I want to be my own builder? Like, I had the knowledge to do it all. Why do I need to go see a builder? Can't I just buy the modules directly from you and I'll take care of everything else?
Yeah, we do get that a lot. Our answer is that it takes so much training time on our product to install it correctly and to be able to service it correctly that if you've never done modular construction before, even if you've built 50 homes, then we typically won't let you do just your project. It's not worth the time and the training it's going to take to do one project with you. Now, if anybody's interested in becoming a builder and they want to have that conversation, we'd be happy to have that conversation. We'll run you through a lot of videos, a lot of on-site training. You'll have to visit some other sets, some other sites going on, and we're happy to do that. But for one home, it's just not worth trying to train somebody to do it properly. We would end up just doing 90% of the work on that, and that's not our business model, unfortunately.
So if I were to want to be a builder, how long does that process take?
Just depends on your experience level.
Okay.
If you've been wearing a framing belt your whole life and you know everything there is to know about wood and wood construction, then it's not going to take you too long. Obviously, we're not going to run you through unnecessary steps, so it can happen pretty quickly. We can get a builder trained and onboarded maybe in a month if they've got a vast amount of experience. But if you're totally new to modular construction and you've really only site built a few homes in general, a few projects, it's going to take a little bit longer. We're going to make sure to get you training from some industry experts to make sure that you're set up properly, because the worst thing we've seen happen, and it's happened to us before, is we set up a new to modular builder and they fail out pretty quick because they didn't understand the differences between modular construction planning and site built construction planning. And we don't want to see that happen again, so we do run newer, greener builders through a little bit more of a process.
Yeah, and then I guess the last question I have is what is, I know everyone's different, but what does our warranty on our homes look like with the different products and the home overall or whatnot? What does that warranty package look like?
Sure, yeah. So I kind of jokingly say we have like a 1-year gutter to gutter. So that's full coverage on your house on defects in quality and workmanship. That's going to be covered by us through your builder, though. So again, everything's back to the builder. If you have a problem, you say, hey, Mr. Builder, come over, check this out. Your builder's going to go to your job site. He's going to say, yep, absolutely, this is an issue. I'm going to get it fixed. And then on the back end, he's going to call me and say, hey, I fixed this problem, which was your problem, and we'll get it taken care of. So that's 1 year full coverage. A lot of the products that we offer and put in our homes have a better coverage than that. Silverline windows and Anderson windows both have a really good warranty. Anderson has one of the best in the industry. That's why we work with big name companies like that, is because we love their warranty. Not only do you know the component because you've been around it your whole life and you've seen it, and it's been around for a long time with a lot of the stuff that we use, but we also make sure we have a good warranty network. So we know, again, I'll pick on Anderson windows, but if you've got a problem in 10 years, we know exactly how to fix that. We know that there's a field rep in the area across the country, and they're going to come to the house and fix it. So check out our product lifetime warranties. And then we have a 10-year structural warranty as well. So let's say 10 years down the road, I'm terrible at thinking of an example of this because it just never happens. Yeah. But let's say a floor joist broke or a roof truss broke. Mm-hmm. You've got a 10-year structural coverage on that house as well.
Yeah.
Back to products. What if, I'm thinking design-wise, say I'm not happy with the floorings you have to offer. Where, as a customer, do I have any fluctuation of what actually gets put in my house? Can I just purchase the shell of the house but say, like, I don't want anything to do with your cabinets, I don't want any of that, I just want the shell of the house? Have you ever had that type of scenario?
Yeah, absolutely. Try not to be too long-winded on this one, but so, again, I'll back up a couple steps just in case anybody new to Rochester Homes is watching this for the first time. But so we're a more custom shop. We're going to build a volume of houses. It's going to be about 300 this year. And that's a fair amount, don't get me wrong, but it's not so many that we're just stamping these same exact modules out. We custom order the windows for every house. We custom order the cabinets for every house. We custom order the trim and doors for every house. While we do keep some products to stock levels, and we do get buying incentive to do that, you can always omit something, So like faucets is always a really good example. We keep those as an inventory stock item because we use them on every single house, and so we try not to inventory 20 different faucets. That's a very costly initiative that would end up rolling into your out of your pocket, I should say, at the end of the day. So we try to keep our overhead as low as possible so we can keep our prices as effective as possible. And so faucets, back to my point, if you don't like the 3 that we offer, we'll let you omit that. We'll give you credit on that product right on your invoice. You can see it through your builder invoice, and then you can go in and either have your builder install a faucet on site, or you could potentially, that's a great example. You've asked me earlier about what can you do yourself. You could install a faucet in 20 minutes on your own too. Anybody can do it. So all the time we get omissions of faucets. Lighting fixtures is another one where people are like, "How you really only have like 2 colors and a couple styles?" Well, to us, we've got 15 product SKUs that we inventory quite a bit of, so that's why we don't have a million. But how easy is it for us to omit that? We'll give you credit, and your builder can put whatever light fixture in between the big box stores and what you can get on Wayfair and Amazon and all these sites nowadays, we see a lot of people doing light fixtures, and then flooring is another really good example too. I know the big trend that you've turned us on to is one color choice, one style and color choice throughout big areas in your house so that it really opens up your area. Well, in order to do that, you've got to cross marriage walls typically, and so we would only be able to install a portion of the floor. So it makes sense that a lot of our builders are even starting to omit flooring and do a lot of it on site so that they can get exactly what their customer wants. So yeah, not only do we have quite a bit of selection of the really important things in your home, like cabinets, we've got a ton of selection on window configurations and colors. We've got a bunch of selection on, but also, yeah, you can omit any product. And I like to tell people, the effectiveness of modular construction is the more you do at the factory, the more money you're going to save. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, if you omit 5 products and you get those on site, you still have the 95% effectiveness of modular construction. You're still ahead of the game. You still didn't site build. It didn't take you 10 months. And your product, all your house didn't get wet and rained on as it was built. You still have it still makes sense to build modular, and you can, omit a few things here and there and do those on site. So we've to answer your question, we've done some houses where we ship a total shell and they do drywall, everything on site. We've done others where we drywall and then they do kitchen cabinets, countertops, all that on site. So, yep, it's up to you and your builder.
Yeah, I guess to build on the custom products, what if I were to come to you with a custom floor plan? Like, is that possible? Like, or do I have to pick a floor plan through our selection of floor plans that we already have?
No, we about 60% of what we build every year is a floor plan that a customer has brought to us. The systems building method that we use lends us toward building in certain module sizes, and that gives us a really high amount of efficiency on the production line, and it gives us the ability to buy certain lumber sizes, certain drywall sizes that not only make us more production efficient, but also save us money in the home as well. So we're going to take your plan and we're going to, we call it value engineering it back into our system so that we can save you the money that you're intending on saving, and then we can reproduce that plan for you into our system, and you can modify it from there a little bit further, obviously, if you'd like, but it's really pretty price effective to do that custom through us. It doesn't cost a whole lot of money, so a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
Can they modify your floor plans?
Yep, that's even easier because those are already engineered into our sizes. So yeah, I don't remember the last time that a standard floor plan went down the production line. Everybody wants to move something, which makes sense. I mean, we're all different, so
make it their own.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. How long will it typically take? One size, sign the dotted line. When's my house? When am I moving in?
When are you moving in? Really complex question. So I like to say that you need to budget probably about 6 months on average, and I think that's you've got some fluff in there maybe even, but the better answer to your question is it totally depends on your job site and the complexity of the home. So a two module home for us to actually build it through the factory takes 5 days. It's a pretty quick process, and you can come see that on the tour, like I said earlier, and I suggest you do. But a 5 module project obviously takes 6 days for us, so yeah, it doesn't change the time much, but the installation time is very different. The amount of finish that gets done in a 5 or 6 module home is very different than what gets done in a 2 module home, because there's all those connection points. So we're leaving drywall off of those connection points. We're leaving flooring back. We're where the builder is going to be putting those things back together. That's going to take them more time on finish. And then there's typically more siding to do. There's typically more, if you're doing 5 boxes, you're tying more shingle parts together. So, and then how big's your garage going to be? How big's your porch going to be? All those questions get tied in together. But typical time from order to delivery for us, 8 to 12 weeks typically is pretty normal, and then a couple days to build. But then once it gets on site, your builder's going to take some time. Your utility customers are going to take that time. So I average of 6 months maybe.
Okay. That's all the questions I have, unless you have any more. I can't think of any more.
That's all you guys have for me?
Yeah. I mean, I would like to invite, like, if you're watching this and you have more questions, like, email us about us, put in the comments or whatnot to ask more questions that we're not thinking of right now off the top of our heads.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because you said this was going to be harder and it wasn't.
All right.
Want to make it harder?
We'll get down to the real hard questions here.
Yeah, once we shut the camera off.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for watching our frequently asked questions video. And like Zach said, feel free to reach out to us on any social media channel that we've got or through the website, chat bot, any of those mediums, and ask more questions, and we'd be happy to field those for you. And get in touch with us, like I said, about getting here to see a factory tour and to see the model center. It's well worth your time. And you can find our podcasts and all of our content online on our website or on Spreaker or iTunes and anywhere basically that does podcasts, right, Zach?
Yep.
Okay.
Anywhere.
Thanks for watching.